Welcome, and thank you for joining for another whiskey review. Today, we're going to take a look at the Springbank 21-year-old 2023 release, 46% ABV. Dustin.
We're back, baby.
Springbank 21s have not been easy to get lately. Fortunately, we have one of our subscribers, one of our friends from great state in New York, sent us a big, healthy sample of this one. So we were able to get this one. The 21 has absolutely been the hardest one to actually find in the core range. Dustin, am I wrong lately?
As far as
Springbanks.
In our region, it's been very hard. Now, the 23 is available. The problem with that is, in the simplest terms I can put, it's $700 by me now. And
yeah, it's super pricey.
that's more than I paid for my first 25, Mike.
Yeah.
By $200.
Yeah, first one you got was a good deal. But, I mean, we've always liked these 21s. This is still, like, for us, it was the oldest regular release. It was still Springbank funky, like in the past.
Yeah.
Like, the 25 was always a different animal. But we love these 21s. Haven't been able to get one for a long time. So the 2023, I like to put that little like encyclopedias used to have, like, you know, the whole alphabet or whatever. And I want to get every year of the Springbank.
We're missing a few, unfortunately. I think the last one we did, Mike, was either 20 or 21. It's been that long.
I think it was 21. It's been a long time for sure. Now, this has got an exotic cask maturation. I think it's 40% bourbon, 20% cherry.
So it's 45 bourbon,
Sorry.
20 sherry, 20 rum, and 14 port. I believe this is similar to the 2019, but I'd have to check. I'm not sure if it was the exact same maturations there. I will say, Mike, colors alike now, because Springbank did use some really dark rum casks a while back, so this is going to be more of a fruity rum is what I'm expecting versus those darker rum notes.
Yeah, I tell you what, right off the bat, funk, vanilla, that over-the-top sweetness you get from some port matured whiskeys right there too. Some dark fruits there, sour, citrus. Man, it's a little bit of everything right off the bat.
Yeah, I'm getting like that a mixture of, like, you know, Keith's note of like sugar cookies, but with like more of like a vanilla wafer kind of a thing with a little bit of funkiness, hints of banana coming through, probably from that rum is my guess. Again, I mean, the vanilla here, obviously, I mean, vanilla wafers, so what do I need to say? I'm not getting dark fruits. I'm not really getting chocolate, maybe a hint of white chocolate notes coming through, Mike. I would say, yes, there's funk here, but it's not heavy funk. It's not like, you know, Springbank with dirty sherry funk. It's just a little bit of earthiness, a little salient note, you know, again, aged there by the sea.
Yeah, the banana note, it was definitely there. That's a good call on that. The vanilla note is so prominent here. Such a prominent vanilla note.
It's not a rich vanilla. It's just sort of a light,
whippy, icy.
Yeah, just kind of, it's there.
It's aromatic.
Subtle.
Though. Yeah, it's not deep or rich, but I mean, it's
everywhere in this experience,
right.
But it's a subtle vanilla, if that makes sense. Like, everything has a little vanilla. It's like somebody opened a bag of, like, powdered vanilla. I don't know if that's a thing.
Might be, probably, somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, the vanilla kind of goes in the oak note with me on this particular one. I think the funk is pretty strong on this, Dustin. I think this is getting really funky compared to some of the other Springbank offerings we've had lately. And the twinge of sour kind of right on the end for me. It's just like a twinge of sour, maybe mixed with a lime or something.
See, I get like a pretty maybe this is where you're getting the funk, because I'm getting a pretty heavy oak note here. I mean, much more so than I'm used to on a 21. And obviously more than we get from anything, you know, the 18s and below. But I'm getting a real heavy note of oak. And you're right, after that oak is a really citrusy, sour note, which could be coming from the oak as well. I'm thinking that's maybe where you're getting some extra funk.
See, to me, like the sugar cookie note, the sugar note, there is a sweet sugar note right on the end of the sour note for me. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, man. We're kind of kicking around some of the same notes and how they lead and what this is oak and what isn't, but there is a lot going on for this particular one.
You know, we talk about sometimes, you know, well-integrated whiskey. Well, this ain't it. This is 4 distinct casks, and they're all playing in this, and they're fighting with each other. I've got a feeling a drop of water is going to bring it together, tame it down, or, you know, maybe it all works on the palate.
I tell you what, man, it is for 46. Just smells so outstanding. I mean, this is another example where, I wish Springbank would do more than 46, just like Ardbeg. But this is so aromatic for 46. It smells so dark, rich, and viscous.
Ooh.
I didn't get more dark notes than you. But I'll give it that dark honey.
It is a dark. It's darker on the palate. Again, it's heavy oak. Yeah, this is the oakiest. This is oakier than the 25s and the 130 we did. I'm really trying to kind of put my head around this here, but I'm getting a really rich oak note in here. Yeah, up front, the arrival, it is surprisingly flavorful, given 46%. It really hits pretty hard up front in the sweetness levels. Good, medium kind of like cookie, sawdust kind of note comes in the middle. Then you really start getting kind of that darker note. I think that's where maybe you're getting a mixture of the rum and the port really comes in. I'm thinking maybe like a tawny port, so it's not a super dark, rich port. So again, I think tawny ports tend to give me a little bit of a oaky, chestnutty kind of note. It's interesting, Mike.
Yeah, just right when I first swallow. You got a lot of the Springbank Funk vanillas, right, when you put it on your tongue. But as soon as you swallow, it went dark and dark fast. Mm-hmm. Plums, purple crayon, Dimetap. The over-the-top sweetness, I'm thinking they're getting that from the rum cast. That'd be my guess, but I've had port do a very similar thing. Mm-hmm. And just the two-handed punch of both of them. This comes off on the palate, on the long linger, incredibly sweet and dark to me. A little bit of smoke. I mean, sure, the funk's there. But, I mean, I agree with what you said. It is so much darker on the palate than it is on the nose. There is now just a twinge of maybe sour or citrus on kind of the sides, but that just came on the long linger. I mean, it was straightforward and basic. You said it was kind of disjointed on the nose initially. Mm-hmm. I agree with that statement. It was pretty focused on what it did on the palate. It kind of started a little funky, a little vanilla at first, but as soon as you swallow, man, it got dark and got dark fast.
To me, it brings really nice transitions. Up front, it's classic Springbank.
Sure.
Then mid-palate, the wood notes come in pretty heavy. Finish, I'm thinking it's a tawny port kind of thing going on there, where I'm getting almost like an artificial grapefruit note comes in there for a second.
Very Dimetap.
You get some grape notes, but again, I'm getting a little bit of grapefruit, like sourness, acidity. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. There's definitely like a dark
it's almost leaving like
it's grape or
a sugar feeling on my lips. You know what I mean? It's like that sweet on the
I started like licking my teeth and stuff when I was tasting it. It was just like kind of coating. It's pretty intense there.
I mean, once again, 46% comes off higher.
This definitely comes off higher on the mouth everywhere. The viscosity. The finish is maybe where the 46 shows itself to be just 46, but everywhere else on here, I'm definitely getting a little more oomph. I've got to get used to this water thing, Mike. I think I definitely am pouring just a bit more than I want.
What, this time?
Yeah, I just kind of, it's one of those things you got to get used to.
We're getting used to it. The little Glencairn pour. The pipette is just not sturdy enough for my hands.
Mike insists on putting in the dishwasher, guys, after we put bottled water through it.
I like to be clean. Anyway, I'm hoping the water kind of balances it out, brings everything together.
Wood notes have come up.
I was going to say, wood notes have come up.
Powdered sugar. Big time.
Cedar almost.
Yeah. And on top of that, I'm almost getting like a little bit of a lemon pledge, but it's being brought down by that nice vanilla note that's coming through.
Yeah, you're right. There's a little bit of furniture polish and, in springtime, windows open.
Yeah.
A slight bit of linen.
Like at first I start to think of like a young, youthful, like a Glenmorangie type thing, but then that oak note comes in and it kind of turns darker and you realize, no, that's got age. But it's a very light, fruity, well-aged whiskey, which is not a bad thing.
I have underplayed the oak note so far in this review. There is a strong oak note to this. And it has just gotten bigger with water. Yeah, very lemon and orange pledge. Maybe an orange custard. Super sugary. I mean, the sweetness is not as dominant, but it's still such a big piece of this.
Yeah, initially I was thinking kind of leaning towards artificial sugars, which I get a lot when you got a heavy oak note.
So aspartame?
Yeah, with water, on the other hand, though, it's actually sweetened it up. It's made it much more natural, nice dessert. Very nice. Really enjoying what the water did on the nose, Mike.
God, this might be worth $700, Dustin. Today's market, as much as I hate to say it.
I refuse to acknowledge today's market as a thing.
Jeez.
Even though I definitely am paying based on today's market.
It's just such a word. And here at the end now, with a little bit of the long nose, sour's coming back. Sours, if it's done right, it's a nice compliment to a whiskey. It's a rich sour with a lemon. My little pledge note on the end.
I gotta go in for a second taste there with water.
Unravel it for you. 46 is tricky. If you went heavy.
I don't like it with water. The fruits have kind of subsided. It's oak and sweetness. A little bit of peat. Hint of smoke. It's not that the flavor is washed away. But the things I liked are not showing up here now.
They definitely have the sweetness. Cut it right at the knees. And the oak.
And it will kill the transitions, too. It's now just sort of pretty steady. I mean, the finish is nice. It's got a nice little bit of oak and a little bit of leather.
It melted it together, but not in the way I'd hoped.
No. It left us with not the worst parts, but the least exciting parts.
The oak note's still there.
There's nothing wrong with this whiskey now. It's just, it had some nice highlights before. Now, you know.
All right, Dustin. Whiskey score time. Let me go first. You're harder on Springbank than I am these days. Here's where I'm at. Overall whiskey score, I'm at an 89. I really like this whiskey, but I think the sum of its parts is lesser than the parts that I initially picked out at the beginning. Like I was like, I like this, I like sweetness, I like this. Yeah, it's disjointed, but it's strong, and I like it. But it didn't really handle water well. Either way. And initially, when I initially noticed this whiskey, I was like, we're in for a better whiskey than what we are. Initially, in my head, I was like 90. You know what I mean? It's a 90 all day. But I'm an 89, which is still a very, very good score. This is a really good whiskey. If you like Springbank, you're going to love this whiskey.
You're not going to dislike it, yeah.
Yeah, just like always, we put water in it, just to see if how well it holds up. I would normally drink this neat all the time.
Yeah, this one definitely doesn't need the water.
It maybe needs a 90.
Yes, so, Mike, I'm an 88.
Give it to me, Doug.
Kicking around the same kind of thoughts I had, really. I don't think at any point this whiskey was what it needed to be. It was worse than the sum of the parts.
Yep.
It had these nice notes. It had this element that was good. Now, I don't know how long this has been open. I can always shoot a note to my friend, see, hey, did you just crack this? He has been crushing it on the whiskey auctions lately, Mike. So
this could have been something. Hard to get everything.
Yeah, so this could be one he picked up off auction. I mean, the 23 release. I mean,
and it smells like something that perhaps this is a neck pour.
It very much could be. So I don't know. Maybe it just hasn't had time to really unravel. As we've discovered, Springbanks really do well with time and having a good bit of air.
Yeah, in the bottle and in the glass. A lot of times we can't always do that. So I guess the main takeaway is it'll probably do nothing but get better, assuming that's the scenario. Anyway, those are our thoughts on the Springbank 21, the 2023 edition. If you guys had a chance to try that one, let us know what you guys think. Dustin, until next time, what do we wish?
Happy funky drinking.
Thanks again.